Okay, so I just went to the convenience store and I bought myself a box of surgeon gloves. They're white, they're stretchy, and they make a nice little snapping sound when you pull them down and you let go and they hit your wrist. I had to buy these because this topic, I feel like it's pretty delicate, and you have to be sort of careful when you talk about this because there are so many differing perspectives on the player involved here, from the agent to the fans to the media, that I think it's only more than appropriate to make a video about this just a few weeks after we had made the previous trade update regarding this player. Let's talk about the Vancouver Canucks captain Bo Horvat, because when it comes to the social media response to everything that had happened in the Canucks' first game of the season against the Edmonton Oilers, it is very interesting to highlight where the fans are coming from and contrast that with what was said by Bo Horvat's agent yesterday on Donnie and Dolly, as well as the entire sentiment that we have been seeing from other members of the media, like guys like Elliot Friedman, for example. So, Bo Horvat is the Vancouver Canucks captain. Bo Horvat is supposed to be a pretty good player, and for the most part, I guess you could say that he is. He's 27 years old, 6 feet, 216, and last season he scored himself his first 30-goal year in the National Hockey League. He was kind of lacking in the assist territory, but he scored a boatload of goals, so it's kind of okay. He had 52 points in 70 games last season. His career high is 61 points, which came back in 2018-19. Bo is on an expiring deal, where he's currently making a $5.5 million AAV, that in which he has been given since, 2018, pretty sure? He's a guy that is due for an extension, and a lot of people would go out there and say that Bo Horvat, as a two-way capable, penalty-killing, leadership type of character figure in the locker room, is probably going to demand a boatload of money. We made the entire video talking about Sean Couturier already, and how apparently that is the contract amount that the Canucks captain's party would be looking for, but at the end of the day, the things that I said in that video, I still believe in my heart of hearts that Sean Couturier is a superior player than Bo. So if that is the contract comparison that is being brought up here as sort of the template for the next Bo deal, it starts to make me feel a little bit concerned. We then had ourselves the first game of the Vancouver Canucks season against Edmonton, where a lot of fans, myself included, went out there and started talking about Bo Horvat and the way he played. Bo Horvat is not JT Miller. Bo Horvat is not Quinn Hughes. Bo Horvat is not Elias Pettersson. He does not produce like these guys. He does not score points like these guys. Sure, he might actually find himself in a similar point race as these players, but I think it would be fair to say the dynamic qualities of each of those three, Hughes, Petey, and Miller, are superior to that of Bo's. Meanwhile, you had yourselves the game on Wednesday night, wherein the captain went out there and, I don't want to say he had a bad game per se. He had an assist, but at the same time, there definitely were a lot of Canucks fans after the Canucks blew a 3-goal lead and lost 5-3 after going 1 for 8 on the power play, and talked about Bo Horvat as one of the guys that did not step up to play. This is a tweet from Satyr Shah after the game from 2 days ago, I believe. No, it's from yesterday, excuse me. Surprisingly, no Canuck took more heat from listeners on the post-game show last night than Bo. Now that he's due a big contract, the tone has changed. But where are you with the Canucks captain? Before we read a few more tweets, I wanted to say that when the Canucks post-game show for the Oilers game on Wednesday aired, you had so many people calling out Bo on the text line, on the call line, saying, yeah, this guy just didn't show up. He didn't have that same sort of fight that guys like Linden and Smeal had. You could definitely see that Bo wasn't leading the team in the way that he should be leading the team. He wasn't being the driving force that allowed the team to manifest a comeback. He wasn't playing the score. He wasn't making plays. He was throwing the puck into Garland's skates. He was missing one-timers. He was doing this. He was doing that. And Bo was getting critiqued like crazy on the postgame. You then had yourselves a tweet replying to the Satyr Shah tweet from Dagger1977. You never want to overreact after one game, and you would like to see a sample size of how the big three would work. But you really have to see how he rebounds on this road trip and reevaluate after the trip. Satyr Shah said, I didn't even think that Bo was that bad, to be honest, but EP and JT are on a different level, making the type of money Bo wants to, so when his play isn't on their standard, it's not a great look valuation-wise. But yes, it's one game. and we need a far bigger sample. Now, the money thing enters the conversation once more because, as we had said, Elliot Friedman already laid out on the line that apparently what Bo Horvat's party would be asking from Vancouver is something akin to the Sean Couturier contract. Couturier, by the way, he's had multiple 70-point years before he signed his 7.7 AAV deal. This is what was said on Donnie and Dolly yesterday from Bo Horvat's agent. He believes that Bo is a number one center. And this sparked an entirely new conversation on Twitter yesterday as to whether or not Bo really is that good. Because on the Vancouver Canucks, he's not. Pettersson and Miller are both better, even if you go over to last season's point production. They both outscored Bo. Now, sure, Bo didn't play as many games, but guess what? Petey and Miller both played 80. Let's take Bo's points per game. He had 52 points in 70 games and add 10 more games onto that sample. 52, divvy 70, multiply it out by 80, and he was on pace for 59 total points, which still would have been far inferior to that of the other two centers on the team. Meanwhile, you have yourselves the number one center debate as to whether or not he could be a number one center on another team. Here's a tweet that I really like from Hassan from Burnaby. How many teams is Bo a number one center on? Arizona, San Jose, Seattle, Ottawa, Montreal, Columbus, Chicago? That's 7 off the top of my head, and they're all bottom feeders. And there are some other conversations saying, hey, is Bo Horvat even better than Nick Suzuki? Suzuki, you could debate. Josh Norris scored more goals than Bo last year, and he had fewer games, so maybe it's fair to say Norris on the Sens is a bit better? The fact is, Bo Horvat's agent is going out there and pumping the tires on Bo so hard that, in the eyes of the people that are watching Donnie and Dolly, they all look at that and they say, wait, no, he's not. Bo Horvat is good. But if you're talking about a cup-contending, number one championship caliber team, you're not going to win a Stanley Cup with Bo Horvat as your number one center. I'm sorry, but you're just not going to do that unless you have the deepest team in the world where you have 4 Bos on each one of your lines. Having Bo as your number one center is not going to allow you to compete with guys like Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Nathan McKinnon. Now, Miller and Pettersson are both better than Bo. And they're not even at that level yet. So when it comes to what Bo Horvat is, sorry to say, but calling the guy a number one center, that's pretty laughable. Then you talk about the contract. Even Sean Couturier is a better player than Bo, and Couturier is injured to all heck. He's still so extraordinarily talented that he's kind of worth the 7.7 AAV. If you want to give Bo that type of money, the same conversation brings itself up as before, as Satyr Shah highlighted in his tweet. It's ridiculous thinking that Bo Horvat is going to be making the same money as Hughes, just a slightly fewer amount of dollars than JT, more money than Elias Pettersson, when Bo is what Bo is. Comparative to the talent pool that's being thrown around on him, you can't realistically go out there and say that Bo Horvat deserves to be paid more than Elias Pettersson. Now, I know it's a contract thing. Oh, Pettersson signed a bridge deal. That's why he's only making 7.3. He'll get the bag in 2024. But at the same time, just isolated in a point of view where it's like, okay, you look at how much people are making. Bo making more than Petey? Bo making the same as Quinn Hughes? Is he really that good? The agent's saying he's a number one center. Is he really a number one center? You compare him to other centers in the NHL. Is he better than Sebastian Aho? Is he better than Mark Scheifele? Is he better than... Heck, you could even debate Matty Beniers. I don't know. Talk to the comments your thoughts. What do you think about Bo Horvat and the comments that were made about him? Not just from the game, the fans texting in the Sportsnet 650 post-game show, just throwing the smackdown on Bo and laying to him why he's a bad player because of one game against the Oilers. I definitely do think there was some overreacting there, but he definitely did not play his best game. Sure, he had an assist, but at the same time, a lot of plays that did not exit his stick properly, shots that missed the net, reads that weren't great, as well as the hustle on some of the goals against. There was a Bo Horvat back check that people were kind of throwing shade on. I believe it was the Nurse shorthanded goal, but either way, there's a lot to talk about with Bo Horvat. Is he a number one center? Tell me in the comments, what do you think? Is he worth a 7.7 AAV deal? Tell me in the comments what you think. Do you think that there's a lot of pressure on this guy now because he is in a contract year and people are just more harsh because he expects the bag next season? Talk to the comments your thoughts about Bo Horvat and the Canucks going forward. I hope you enjoyed this Juraj Rolls 99. And bye.